this is we take the initial die, which is a 9.3 by 62 die, and we're going to go ahead and set it into the press. Do what we always do. We're going to set in our shell holder. Now, with this process, what is important to understand is you don't need to fully length resize the body of the case yet. All you want to do is bring the case mouth over this expander ball button here. And you can get these, you can actually order these from RCBS. Now for those of you using Lee dies, you cannot use Lee dies for this conversion process. And the reason is their dies have a decapping system in it like this. This is held in by friction. With all the pressure we're going to put on this, it'll actually push the expander ball and decapping pin out. So we want it threaded in. So we're just going to start the die in, not putting it all the way in, and there's a reason for that. We want to make sure that the mouth is fully formed, or flared out rather. And here's our first case. You want to get as much lube in the case as you can. Not excessive, you just want enough to where it's not going to split the case mouth open from friction. And we're going to take some lubricant additionally, and we're going to put it on the outside of the expander ball. And we're going to make our first pass. It's the first pass. Yes, it is ugly. It's really ugly. But you know what? It's going to look better when we're done. We're going to do the other case. I'm going to do 3 cases today to show you how this works. Sometimes they'll split. That's why we anneal these, but they will still sometimes split. The thinner cases can split on you. It's not always the case, but it can happen, and it's something you need to watch out for. That's why I use 30-06 brass. I pick up the gun club. So if it splits, I'm not really all that upset about it. Alright, so we take this out. We need to make sure we remember where the 9.3 millimeter goes. Alright, I'm going to take the 378 expander ball and insert it into this die here. And we're going to go through the same process. The case is already lubed, but we're going to add a little bit to this one here just to make sure we don't get what they call chatter or any galling on it. Now we're making this up to 375. That's a fairly easy pass. You want to do this in steps. And the reason is, if you do it in steps, you're not going to end up inadvertently pushing the neck down into the shoulder for whatever reason. Okay. We take that expander ball and we put it back in to the dies it originally came from. I don't know if you've seen my die collection. I got plenty of dies to work with, so this makes things a lot easier if you already have the equipment. This guy's a little dirty. If you have a lot of crud in here, see all that glitter? That's brass from the other forming session I did with this. Just wipe that off so it doesn't get all pressed into the case. See, it's this part right here, this little bump. It's going to be doing all the work. I actually have to use the 416 die, I think. Same thing. Takes a little bit of effort. Here we go. This is what can happen. You see how the shoulder or the neck got pushed into the shoulder? That's a destroyed case. This happens. Not always, but it happens. See, that one's okay. Don't worry about that goofy look to it. That'll get all pressed out of it. Don't forget, we have to trim these too. And in that trimming process, it's going to take out that funky look to it. And here's one that's split. So you'll get splits. I usually lose about 5 cases out of, say, 30. But that's not to say that it's a good thing, but at least you know there are risks. See? Now we go back to 9.3 millimeter. And this is where we use lubricant on the body of the case. And the reason why is we're going to reform the shoulder. The shoulder has to be moved forward on this thing. And in order to accomplish that, you have to neck it up some. Just like that. This is a forming operation. This is not a standard resizing operation. So you're going to have a lot of stuff. There's rules that apply to you here more so than it would so we're putting the neck back onto it. You see where the shoulder is starting again? So we're pushing that, we're reforming that shoulder all together. We're going to do this in steps. See how I'm turning the die about half to a quarter turn? That way you can do this in steps. Without one, overworking the case and overworking yourself. So see, now we have a case that's basically formed in this little chamber. So we're going to take these two guys were destroyed and put them in the trash can. Now if you wanted to, you can use if you only have this die, it's still you still have the ability to do it. However, it does make it more difficult to headspace off the shoulder because the shoulder isn't really formed like it should be. I still like to back it out in that first pass through with the expander ball button. See that? And we'll bring it back down. If you look at the cases, you'll see this one has a much more defined shoulder on it than this guy does. And this guy just went straight through the 9.3 by 62 die. And see, you need for this in the headspace. That's why if you're not going to use a 416, the 416 blows them out often enough. But you need to at least bring it up to 375, then back down to 36 caliber, because the 9.3 millimeter measures .3660 diameter, and this will give you a good shoulder to work with.